The city park was quiet that night. Most people were already at home. The street lights were dim and flickering. Cold wind moved through the broken swings. Ethan walked slowly along the empty path. He worked as a night cleaner in nearby buildings. This park was part of his daily route. He was tired but calm, used to being alone. Suddenly, he heard a sound. It was soft, weak, and shaking at first. He thought it was a stray cat, but the sound felt different. It sounded like fear. Ethan stopped walking. He listened carefully. The sound came again. A quiet cry, almost like a baby. His heart beat faster. No child should be here at this hour. He looked around. The park was dark and empty. Still, the crying continued. Ethan followed the sound toward the old playground. The swings were rusted and broken. Paint was peeling from the slide. Shadows covered the area like a blanket. The cry came from the bushes near the swings. Ethan moved slowly. He did not want to scare whoever was there. His shoes crunched softly on the gravel. Then he saw movement. Two small glowing eyes looked at him from the dark. Ethan froze. His breath caught in his chest. For a moment, he thought he was dreaming. The eyes blinked. A small shape pulled back into the bushes. The crying became louder. Ethan knelt down. "It's okay," he whispered softly. "I won't hurt you." The bushes moved again. Something small crawled forward. It was a baby, but not a human one. The child was tiny, wrapped in torn silver cloth. Its skin had a soft glow, like moonlight. Small marks moved slowly across its arms. Its eyes were large and full of fear. Ethan's hands trembled. He had never seen anything like this. The baby looked at him. Its lip quivered. Then it cried again. Ethan felt something deep in his chest. The baby was scared, cold, and alone, whatever it was. It was still a child. Before Ethan could move closer, a low humming sound filled the air. The ground vibrated slightly. Ethan looked up. Small flying drones moved above the trees. Red lights scanned the park. They moved slowly, like they were searching. The alien baby froze. Its glowing skin dimmed. It pressed itself against the ground. Terror filled its eyes. Ethan understood one thing clearly. Those machines were not here to help. Without thinking, Ethan took off his jacket. He gently wrapped it around the baby. The child felt warm and light in his arms. Its crying stopped. The drones moved closer. A red light passed over the playground. Ethan held his breath. He stepped back into the shadows. Hiding behind the broken slide, the baby clung to his shirt with tiny fingers. One drone stopped directly above him. Its light focused on Ethan's chest. The baby's glow flickered under the jacket. Ethan stood completely still. His heart pounded loudly in his ears. He was sure he would be caught. Then, suddenly, the drone moved away. It floated toward the trees. The red light disappeared into the darkness. The park became silent again. Only the sound of wind remained. Ethan slowly let out his breath. He looked down at the baby. The child stared back at him. Calm but alert. In that moment, Ethan made a choice. He did not know where this baby came from. He did not know who was hunting it, but he knew he could not leave it here. Holding the alien child close, Ethan walked out of the dark park, unaware that this single act of kindness would change his life and the future of both humans and aliens. Ethan did not sleep that night. He sat on the floor of his small apartment, holding the strange baby close. Rain tapped softly on the window. The city lights outside flickered like tired eyes. The alien baby rested quietly in his arms. Her glowing skin was softer now. The light rose and fell slowly like breathing. Ethan watched her carefully, afraid she might disappear. He had brought her home through empty streets. Every sound made his heart jump. Every shadow felt like danger. Still no drones followed him. Ethan wrapped the baby in an old blanket. She looked so small on his worn couch. Her eyes opened slowly. They were deep and bright, filled with curiosity. Suddenly, Ethan felt a strange pressure in his head. A soft voice appeared inside his mind. Not loud, not sharp, but gentle. "Thank you for hiding me," Ethan gasped and pulled back. He looked around the room. No one was there. The baby watched him calmly. "You can hear me," the voice said. "Do not be afraid." Ethan swallowed hard. He nodded slowly. He did not trust his own voice. "Who are you?" he finally asked. The baby blinked. A warm feeling spread through Ethan's chest. "I am Luma," the voice replied. "They are looking for me." Ethan sat beside her. He noticed strange symbols glowing on her small wrist. The symbols moved like living things. "Who are they?" Ethan asked. Luma's glow dimmed. Images filled Ethan's mind, cold white rooms, bright lights. Tall humans wearing masks, pain, fear, crying. Ethan clenched his fists. "They hurt you, didn't they?" "Yes," Luma replied. "They wanted what was inside me." Before Ethan could ask more, a loud sound echoed outside. Engines roared. Brakes screeched. Ethan rushed to the window. Black vehicles filled the street below. Men in dark armor stepped out. Their helmets reflected the streetlights. Luma sat up suddenly. Her eyes widened with fear. "They found me," she said. Ethan's heart raced. He grabbed his old backpack. He packed food, water, and his phone. He wrapped Luma tightly in the blanket. "You stay quiet," he whispered, "no matter what." A loud knock shook the apartment door. Ethan froze. Another knock came harder. "Open up," a voice shouted. Luma reached out and touched Ethan's hand. Warm light flowed into him. Suddenly the noise outside sounded distant. The lights in the room dimmed. "Hide." Luma whispered inside his mind. Ethan moved quickly. He opened the bathroom floor panel. A small space beneath led to old pipes. He lowered Luma carefully inside. She looked up at him with trusting eyes. The door crashed open. Heavy boots filled the room. Flashlights swept across the walls. "Where is the subject?" one man asked. Ethan stood shaking near the sink. "I live alone," he said. Machines beeped. A scanner passed over his body. The sound grew louder near the bathroom. Ethan's breath stopped. Suddenly the scanner went silent. "No signal," another voice said. "Impossible." The soldiers searched again. They found nothing. After long minutes, they left. The doors slammed shut. The engines faded into the distance. Ethan collapsed to the floor. Sweat covered his face. He lifted the floor panel. Luma climbed out slowly. Her glow returned brighter than before. "You protected me again," she said. Ethan looked at her with tired eyes. "They will keep coming," he said. "Yes," Luma replied. "But now you are part of this. Outside the city, far beyond the clouds." A massive alien ship changed its course toward Earth. And its destination was the small human who chose kindness over fear. Morning light entered the small apartment softly. Ethan sat near the window, watching the empty street below. He had not slept again. Every sound still felt dangerous. Luma sat on the floor beside him. She was playing with a small piece of paper. It floated above her hand like a feather. Her glow was gentle and calm. Ethan watched her closely. She did not look like a threat. She looked like a lost child. "You should not stay here." Ethan said quietly, "They will return." Luma looked up at him. Her eyes were serious for someone so small. "I need to show you the truth." She replied inside his mind, before Ethan could answer. Warmth filled his head. The room faded away. Suddenly he was standing somewhere else. He saw a wide green world. Tall crystal trees touched the sky. The air was bright and clean. Strange birds flew peacefully above. "This is my home," Luma said. Ethan felt calm but sad. He saw two tall beings walking toward him. They looked like Luma but older. Their faces were kind. "They are my parents," Luma said. The vision changed quickly. Dark ships appeared in the sky. The peaceful land burned. Loud noises filled the air. Ethan felt fear and anger. He saw humans and aliens together. They wore armor and carried weapons. They said it was for peace. Luma said, but they wanted power. Ethan saw Luma as a baby. Her parents hid her inside a small escape pod. Tears fell from their eyes. The pod launched into space. The vision stopped suddenly. Ethan fell back against the wall. His hands were shaking. They killed your parents. Ethan whispered. Yes, Luma replied. I was created with something special inside me, energy that can heal or destroy. Ethan clenched his jaw. Humans did this. Not all humans, but enough. A loud sound echoed far away. Not close, but strong. The building trembled slightly. Luma stood up. They are coming closer. She said. Ethan felt helpless. He was just one man. No weapon, no power. I cannot fight them, Ethan said. You do not need to fight. Luma replied. You only need to choose. Ethan looked at her confused. Choose what? Choose who you are, she said. Suddenly the television turned on by itself. The screen showed breaking news. Strange lights were seen in the sky. Scientists denied alien contact. Ethan laughed bitterly. They always lie. People fear what they do not understand, Luma said. A message flashed briefly on the screen. It disappeared too fast for Ethan to read. But Luma saw it. That was not human, she said. Someone is searching for me from my world. Ethan felt a strange mix of hope and fear. If aliens come, Earth could be destroyed or saved. What happens if they find you? Ethan asked. Luma looked down. They will judge your world by your actions. Ethan thought about the soldiers. The lies, the fear. Then he thought about himself. A tired man who chose to help a child. I will not give you back, Ethan said firmly. Not to them. Not to anyone who wants to hurt you. Luma stepped closer. She placed her small hand on his chest. Your heart is loud, she said. It shines brighter than many worlds. Outside the city, clouds began to glow faintly. People stopped in the streets and looked up. Something massive moved above the sky. Ethan felt it in his bones. The story was no longer small. He looked at Luma and understood the truth. Saving one frightened alien child might decide the future of Earth. The city woke up angry that morning. Screens everywhere showed Ethan's face. They called him a criminal. They called him a danger to Earth. Ethan watched the news in silence. Luma sat close beside him. Her small hand held his finger tightly. Do not listen to them, she said inside his mind. They say you stole alien property, Ethan replied quietly. They say I am a traitor. Luma's glow flickered sadly. They fear what they cannot control. Outside the apartment, loud voices echoed. People argued in the streets. Some shouted Ethan's name with hate. Others shouted questions. The government released a reward. Anyone who helped capture Ethan would be paid well. The city turned dangerous overnight. Ethan packed their things quickly. He knew they could not stay. He wrapped Luma in a dark scarf. Her glow dimmed to almost nothing. As they left the building, a woman blocked their path. She stared at Luma's eyes, then she stepped aside quietly. Go, she whispered, before it is too late. Ethan felt surprised. Not everyone believed the lies. They moved through back streets and old tunnels. Posters with Ethan's face were everywhere. Drones buzzed above like angry insects. Luma suddenly stopped walking. Ethan felt a sharp pain in his side. Blood soaked his shirt. He had been hit by a rubber bullet fired from above. Ethan fell to his knees. His breathing became heavy. Luma screamed inside his mind. Her small hands pressed against his wound. Warm light poured from her palms. The pain faded slowly. The bleeding stopped. Ethan stared in shock. You healed me, he whispered. Luma looked scared. I was not supposed to use my power. They can feel it now. Sirens filled the air. Searchlights cut through the alleys. We must run, Ethan said, but his legs felt weak. Luma looked at him with wide eyes. Then she said a word aloud for the first time. Father. Ethan froze. His chest tightened. Tears filled his eyes. "I will protect you," he said softly. No matter what happens. They reached an old bridge near the edge of the city. Below it, dark water moved slowly. Above it, helicopters circled. Soldiers blocked the far end. Weapons raised. Cameras pointed at Ethan. A loudspeaker crackled to life. "Hand over the alien child. You will not be harmed." Luma trembled in Ethan's arms. She looked up at him. "What should I do?" she asked. Ethan looked at the soldiers. At the cameras, at the watching world, he stepped forward. "You want her, you will have to go through me." The crowd watching from screens gasped. Some shouted in support. Others called him foolish. Suddenly the sky darkened. A deep hum shook the bridge. Everyone looked up. A massive shadow appeared above the clouds. Light slowly turned on across its surface. Luma felt it immediately. "They are here," she whispered. The soldiers lowered their weapons slightly. Fear replaced anger. Ethan held Luma tighter. Whatever happens next, he knew one thing clearly: humanity was being watched. And this moment would decide how the universe remembered Earth. The world stopped pretending after that day. People everywhere looked up at the sky. The massive shape above the clouds could not be hidden anymore. News channels spoke nonstop. Some called it an invasion. Some called it judgment. Some called it the end. Ethan and Luma were hidden inside an old factory near the river. The building smelled of rust and dust. Sunlight entered through broken windows. Luma sat quietly beside Ethan. Her glow was weak again. Using her power had made her tired. "You should leave me here," she said inside his mind. "If they take me, they will spare you." Ethan shook his head slowly. "I already chose," he replied. "I am not walking away now." Outside the factory, voices echoed, not soldiers this time, ordinary people. Ethan peeked through a crack in the wall. He saw men and women standing together. Some held signs, some held nothing but courage. "Do not give the child back," one man shouted. "She's just a baby," a woman cried. Ethan felt his chest tighten. For the first time, hope felt real. Across the city, protests grew. People blocked roads. They stood between soldiers and hiding places. The government spoke again on every screen. They warned of alien destruction. They said Ethan had doomed the planet, but something had changed. People were no longer listening blindly. Inside the factory, Luma looked at Ethan. "Your people are fighting each other for me." She said. "Not for you," Ethan corrected, "for what is right." Suddenly the air inside the factory vibrated. A deep, calm voice filled the space. It was not loud, but it was powerful. "People of Earth, we are watching." Ethan covered Luma instinctively. The voice continued. "The child you hide belongs to our world. Her safety will decide your future." Across the planet, everyone heard the same message. Some fell to their knees, some cried, some prayed. The government responded with threats. They raised weapons toward the sky, missiles prepared silently. Luma felt fear surge through her body. "If they attack, my people will respond," she said. "Your world will burn." Ethan closed his eyes briefly. He remembered the park, the crying sound, the small glowing eyes. He stepped out of the factory holding Luma openly. Cameras caught everything. The crowd gasped. "I found her alone and afraid," he shouted. "She was being hunted. If this is what humanity is, then we are lost." The crowd grew louder. People stood beside him. Some raised their hands toward the sky. "We choose the child." Someone yelled, "We choose kindness," another shouted. High above the clouds, alien ships shifted position. Weapons powered, but did not fire. Luma looked at Ethan in disbelief. "They are choosing you," she whispered. "No," Ethan replied softly. "They are choosing themselves." Soldiers moved forward nervously. Their leader hesitated. The eyes of the world were on him. Slowly one soldier lowered his weapon, then another, then many. The government signal cut out suddenly. Silence filled the air. The alien voice returned. "Your species stands at the edge. Few protect the weak, many follow fear. Luma stepped down from Ethan's arms. Her legs shook, but she stood tall. "I will speak for them," she said inside his mind. Light surrounded her gently. People shielded their eyes. In that moment, the universe waited. Not to see who was strongest, but to see who was human. Asterisk silence covered the city like a heavy blanket. No engines roared, no sirens cried, only the sound of wind moving between buildings. Ethan stood in the open space holding Luma close. Thousands of eyes watched from screens around the world. Above them, the alien ships waited without moving. Soldiers stood frozen with weapons lowered. Their faces showed fear and confusion. Orders no longer felt clear. Luma stepped forward slowly. Her small body glowed brighter with every step. The light was warm, not violent. Ethan wanted to stop her. But he felt something inside him say this moment was hers. She lifted her head toward the sky. Her voice did not come from her mouth. It entered every mind at once. "I was hunted. I was hurt. I was alone." Images filled the world. The park at night, the drones, the fear. Then the image changed. A human man kneeling in the dark, opening his jacket. Choosing to protect instead of turning away. "This is who you are too," Luma said, "not just what you fear." Ethan felt tears run down his face. He did not try to hide them. The alien ships responded at last. A beam of soft light reached down and surrounded Luma, but it did not pull her away. A new voice joined hers, deeper and older. "We judge not by power, but by choice." Across the planet, people held their breath. Governments tried to speak. Their signals failed. Their weapons shut down without warning. Fear spread among leaders. But among ordinary people, something else spread: relief. Luma turned back toward Ethan. Her eyes were calm. "I can end this with anger. Or I can end it with hope." Ethan knelt in front of her. "No matter what you choose, I am proud of you," he said. She smiled softly. A simple, childlike smile. "I choose to stay alive. And let you choose who you become next." The light around her faded. The alien ships slowly moved higher into the clouds. Weapons powered down. A final message echoed through every mind. "We will return when your world is ready." The sky cleared slowly. Sunlight broke through the clouds. For the first time in days, the city breathed again. People began to move. Some hugged strangers, some cried openly. Some simply stood in shock. Ethan picked Luma up carefully. She rested her head on his shoulder, tired but safe. "You saved us," someone shouted from the crowd. "No," Ethan replied quietly. "We saved ourselves." Days passed, then weeks. The truth came out piece by piece. Hidden deals, experiments, lies. People demanded change, and this time leaders listened. Ethan and Luma lived quietly outside the city, near trees and open sky. She learned human words, human laughter. At night they watched the stars together, waiting, not with fear, but with hope. Ethan knew the story was not over, but it had changed forever. Because one frightened cry in the dark had reminded humanity who they could be. Years passed quietly after the sky returned to normal. Cities rebuilt trust slowly. People remembered the day fear did not win. The old park was no longer dark and broken. New swings stood where rust once lived. Children laughed where silence once ruled. Ethan walked through the park every evening. His hair now touched with gray, his steps slower but steady. Beside him walked Luma, no longer a baby. No longer glowing all the time. She looked almost human now. Almost. People knew her story, but they did not point or stare. To them she was just a girl who smiled softly. After that day, the world changed its direction. Secret labs were closed, hidden files were opened. Those who hunted the weak lost their power. Humanity learned it was being watched. Not with anger, but with expectation. Luma grew with both worlds inside her. She learned human kindness, human pain, human hope. At night she still spoke to the stars, not with words, but with feeling. One evening the air felt different again. Calm but heavy, Ethan felt it before he saw it. The sky above the park shimmered gently, light folded in on itself. A familiar warmth spread through the air, people stopped walking. Children stopped playing, everyone looked up. A single alien ship appeared, smaller than before, peaceful. Luma closed her eyes. "They have come," she said softly. Ethan felt his chest tighten. "Is it time?" he asked. Luma nodded slowly. "Yes." She turned to face him. "You gave me a home. You showed my people something rare." Ethan knelt in front of her. "You showed us who we could be." Light surrounded them briefly, not blinding, not cold. Beings stepped from the ship, tall and calm. Their eyes filled with quiet respect. They looked at Ethan, at the human who chose a child over safety. One of them stepped forward. "You changed the path of two worlds." Not with force, but with heart. Luma reached for Ethan's hand. "I must go now, to speak for both worlds." Ethan felt tears rise, but he smiled. "I knew this day would come. Will you come back?" he asked. Luma smiled the way she always did. "I never really left." She hugged him tightly. Not glowing, just warm, the alien ship lifted slowly into the sky. Luma stood at its edge for a moment. Then she raised her hand. The ship vanished into light. The park stayed silent for a long moment. Then life continued. Years later, a statue stood at the center of the park. A simple man holding a small child, no weapons, no armor. Visitors from distant stars came quietly. They stood before the statue with respect. Children asked who he was. Parents answered simply. He was someone who chose kindness. Ethan lived long enough to see the stars filled with neighbors. Peaceful ships, shared skies. On his final night, he sat by the window. Stars bright above him, he felt a familiar warmth. A soft voice in his mind. "Thank you, Father." Ethan closed his eyes, smiling, knowing the universe remembered humanity not for its power, but for its heart.